Hi there, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. It is Wednesday morning, the 6th of September, which means a couple of things today. First of all, it's time for our Facebook Live, time to craft and connect. But it is also the launch of the brand new holiday catalog, or it's also known as the September to December mini catalog. And it is filled with beautiful holiday products that we are so super excited about. I have Oliver, the crafty pup, and Dale in here with me this morning. And we're going to create a project with you that I think you're going to love. So in the description of the video, I said it's going to be 105 degrees today, or at least that's the prediction. We'll see what happens here in Texas where we live. But we're going to take a little walk through a winter meadow this morning. And Winter Meadow is one of the brand new sweet collections from the new catalog. So if you have your catalog, grab that and turn to page 36. And this is where you will find these gorgeous products in the Winter Meadow Sweet Collection. I always love pointing out that we have an easy button, so if you fall in love with this collection and you want one of each of the items in it, all you have to do is put this item code in and it will put everything in your cart. So couldn't be easier, right? And then on this next page, all of the components to this suite are listed here, but it's so much more fun to take a look at them together, isn't it? Okay, well, let's start with the gorgeous stamp set. Magical Meadow is a red rubber set, and it has some gorgeous fonts in the sentiments. There's 3 different sentiments, and then it's got some beautiful images, and this type of stamp just makes me so happy. You just ink it up and stamp it, and it looks amazing. All of the detail is built into the stamp, so it makes it so quick and easy to create just stunning and beautiful cards. Now there's a die set that coordinates with the stamp set. So you've got dies that will cut out the images, but then you've also got some bonus dies in here. Oops. And they give you an opportunity to cut out some other foliage, other pieces that you can just really step up your projects with. So just a beautiful stamp and die set. We're going to take a look next at the ribbon. So this is a silver and white shimmer ribbon, and I'm hoping that you can see how sparkly and gorgeous it is. Somewhere I have a little bow that I tied. Let me find it. I tied a little bow with this ribbon, and you can see it's just beautiful. So we are not using the ribbon today on our projects, but this is a must-have if you like sparkle. I'm probably going to order a couple bolts of that just to have on hand, because you can't go wrong with that beautiful sparkly ribbon. And then there's some gems. These are faceted gems, so they are raised just a little bit. But they come in Misty Moonlight, Clear, and then Lost Lagoon. But the color is subtle, so you're going to be able to get a lot of usage from these. I think they're going to go really well with any blue or green. Of course, the clear will go with anything, but you're going to be able to add these to lots of projects. Now this specialty paper, it comes in 12 by 12, but because of the shine factor and my lights and camera, I cut it down. And it's called, let me stop and think because I'm still learning the names of the new products. It's called, pardon me? Snowflake Magic. Thanks, Dale. So that should have made sense with the snowflakes on the paper, right? So Snowflake Magic, and again, it's 12 by 12. You get 2 sheets of each design, and this is great specialty paper that, you know, you can just add a little strip here or there. It's not usually something I would use on the entire card front, but you certainly could if you were making a card for someone special. So now the beautiful, beautiful designer series paper with the beautiful snow scenes. It's got that frosted look to it. It's just so very pretty. Looks like we're in a snowstorm, doesn't it? And then this is the page we'll be using today. I know when Stampin' Up! First started bringing out these papers, I guess because I started out as a scrapbooker. I remember the first time I saw a paper like this, and I think it may have been the Poppies several years ago. I was like, why is that upside down? What am I going to do with this? But you just cut it in half, or cut it at 5 1/2 or 5 1/4, and then you can very quickly and easily make really pretty cards. And that's what we're going to do today. But let me show you the B side of the papers. It's got a lovely wash effect on it, and I always find that this lends itself to stamping on designer series paper. So sentiments or images, just really, really pretty. Some of those green, you could stamp your leaves on there, your foliage, and then die cut them out. So really pretty effect that you get with that. So let me save this one piece of paper out, and we're going to talk a little bit about how do you cut this down and use it. So I'm actually going to bring my paper trimmer in, and I'm not going to cut into the paper, but I just wanted to show you how I do this. Now you can just bring it over to the edge of your paper trimmer on the left hand side, and I don't know if you know this, but if you bring it over and you justify it all the way to this edge and you cut it, you get two pieces that are 6 inches wide. So that's our 6-inch mark. We could also go to 5 1/2. And when you do that and cut it, you're going to get the front of the card base. So you could cut it at 5 1/2. You can move it over 1/4 inch, cut it at 5 1/4. But I think the magic really comes in when we start working on it this way. So when I bring it to 4 inches, this is going to be a layer for the card front. We're going to do one card like that today. And you would get 6 pieces out of this designer series paper if you did 4 by 5 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/2. But if you bring it over to 3 inches, and all this depends on the pattern too, then you can get 4 out of each side, so 8 out of this piece of designer series paper that you can put on your card front. So that's the other size that we're using today. Hope that makes sense. That makes sense, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, so we are bringing in just a few supplies this morning. We're making it pretty simple today, aren't we?
All right.
Now this is Smoky Slate cardstock. Would you tell us the colors in that paper, Dale? Do you have it? Or here, I'll hand you the catalog. If
You have Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Blueberry Bushel, Moody Mauve, and Smoky Slate.
Did you say Lost Lagoon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. So really pretty colors and a beautiful color palette. Now, interestingly enough, some of the paper to me has kind of a green cast to it. And I mean, trees are typically green, but this is really created with the grays and black. So it's so, so pretty. And you said Pebbled Path too, didn't you?
No.
No? Pebbled Path, we're just pulling in Pebbled Path because we like that with it. So on this card, I do have the Pebbled Path layer that we're going to just put the designer series paper on. Let me bring my glue in. So our card base, of course, is Smoky Slate. Not a color that I use a lot, but this is going to make a beautiful Christmas card or winter card. So 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And then we've got this Pebbled Path layer that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then the designer series paper is 5 by 3 3/4. So we'll go ahead. What's the matter?
There are colors in there that's not shown in the catalog.
Oh, okay.
Because on the back of the envelope that the DSP comes in, the Designer Series papers comes in, it says basic black, blueberry bushel, garden green, lost lagoon, misty moonlight, moody mauve, pebbled path, pretty peacock, shaded spruce, and smoky slate.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me show them that right quick. I know a lot of you are aware of this, but on the back of your Designer Series paper, under the Stampin' Up! Logo, it does list the colors. That's interesting that that does not line up with what's in the catalog, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And I think that's the first time we've ever noticed that. So what I could have done and should have done was do my stamping before I glued that down, but I didn't. So, you know, let's just go ahead and entirely just commit ourselves here. We're going to just glue it down on the card base. It's Wednesday. We can live dangerously, right? Living dangerously in the craft room. Would you mind grabbing the file, Dale? Because my trimmer on this smoky slate did not do a good job. I don't know if you guys can see those jagged edges, but we're going to show you. That's kind of a happy accident that that happened, because we're going to show you how to fix that. I usually catch that as we cut, but apparently we did not. So we are just going to take, and I hope that that does not sound horrific on camera, but we're going to take this file, and this is a file that I've had for years, and purchased it when I was scrapbooking and creating some 3D projects. But if you have a nail file, you can use a nail file on that, but look at the difference that it makes just getting rid of those little jagged pieces of cardstock. So that is a great tip, isn't it? Let me go ahead and put my inside panel, because I'm going to stamp perfectly straight. I just believe in myself today.
I do too.
You do? So we'll put this inside panel. Now you could certainly stamp a greeting on the inside. You could stamp some of the images if you wanted to. You could also put little strips of the Designer Series paper. You guys know how we can really step it up, right? So now, this is a pretty simple card, but we're going to add our sentiment. I'm going to turn it upside down so that I can bring in the sentiment. I'm trying to, this one says, the colder weather brings us together. And it's really, really pretty font. So let's bring in our Pebbled Path ink pad. And we'll see how I do here. Remember to move around your ink pad when you're inking up, not just in the center. And let's see if we can't get lined up. I may have to move my chair back a bit. And I'm sorry if I get my head in the camera, but I want to get this straight. I think that looks pretty good. Hold it just a few seconds and let that ink transfer over. Oh, it's pretty. Isn't that a beautiful effect, stamping that greeting directly onto the Designer Series paper? So pretty. So now we can go ahead and bring our gems in. Let's see, I have a package that's already open. Do you see it, Dale? If not, that's okay. Yeah, I've already gone through almost the package of these beautiful gems. And I'm just going to pull in the clear ones and just sprinkle them on here in a couple of places, just for that little bit of sparkle factor. And I think we'll use 3. Maybe one up here close to the sentiment. get it too close. Nope, that's pretty much perfect. Okay, so that is quick and easy card number 1. So the designer series paper cut to where we can get 6 out of each sheet of designer series paper. Okay, now let's do one where we're cutting our paper down to 3 inches. And again, we're using a smoky slate card base. And we'll see if we have to use our trick again. Yes, those fibers look a little bit roughed up as well. Whoops, other way. Again, I hope that doesn't hurt your ears. I hope it's not like fingernails on a chalkboard, right?
Right.
Terry used to hate that. Okay, that's a lot better. So I purchased the set of files at our local craft store, but I'm sure you could find them online or in one of the big box stores like Hobby Lobby or Michael, someplace like that. So I've got my inside panel. Let's go ahead and put this in. And I tell you, with this heat, my liquid glue, it is a brand new bottle too, but it is flowing, y'all. I'm having to really be careful with my dots not to get too much liquid glue. Alrighty. Now, this time we've got that 3-inch piece by 5 1/4, and then I've got the pebble path mat that we're going to just mat that with. Now, it looks really pretty, I think, here, but putting the mat back behind it, we've talked about this before, it just really makes that paper stand out. So definitely worth using just a little bit of cardstock to elevate the card and how it looks. Go ahead and get this matted up. Now, if you are watching and you do not have a demonstrator that you work with, that you purchase from, and you need a catalog, please message me, because we would love to send you one. We still have several available, and I can always order more. Now, for this card, I thought about centering this focal image, which I think looks really pretty, but then I also tried kind of offsetting, and I really like that effect too. So now let me show you what we're thinking as far as a sentiment. Initially, we stamped the winter wishes just on a piece of white cardstock, and I thought about pulling this over just a little bit, it not being centered, and adding that greeting with the white, and I think that looks just fine. It looks pretty. And then we thought, well, what about if we stamped it on vellum? So we pulled in some vellum, and when I put this on, I just wasn't happy. I really wanted to move this over and not center this panel, so I wasn't happy with putting that over there. You couldn't really see the sentiment. I mean, it shows up okay, but I didn't really want to do that. So then, let's see, my next one. I took the piece of white and I put the vellum over it and thought that way it would show up and I can bring it over here. So this is just kind of our process as we're going, which looked really pretty. But then we got a stroke of genius, and we actually stamped on the piece of white, and then we covered it with vellum to give it a real frosty look. So I'll bring that close so you can see it. Just a really, really pretty effect. And Dale, would you grab the dies that we use to cut, because those are brand new dies that they have not seen yet, and they're gorgeous. These are called the deckled circles, and look how many you get. We just got these, so we've really just begun using them. And we're going to have to try some things with these really large circles, see what we can come up with. But this is a really pretty border around the dies, around the circles, and we're already using these a lot. You like them too, Dale?
I like them.
They're really, really pretty.
The one that's missing out of there is
In use.
in use.
It's in use. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Although we've already got our piece that we're going to use, I wanted to show you, because one of the issues with using vellum, and I love vellum because it's so pretty, but how do you adhere that then to where the adhesive doesn't show? So we're going to show you a little trick. So the first thing I need to do is find my stamp. This says Winter Wishes, and again, we're going to use Pebbled Path. Now, I could have also used probably a piece of smoky slate to stamp on, just to kind of mute that even more. But we chose white, so we're gonna stick with that. I just want to stamp that Winter Wishes. Pretty. Got a little bit over to the right, but we're gonna make it work. Put that stamp on the chamois. And now to add that vellum, I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet and a sponge dauber. So a lot of times we use those sponge daubers to add ink, but today we're going to use it to add glue. And it doesn't take much. Just going to put a little on my silicone craft sheet. Each week we've been doing a tip video, and this week our tip video is going to be several different things that you can do with your silicone craft sheet. So we could add the adhesive to the vellum, but I think it's easier to add it to the cardstock. If I put it over where I've stamped, because that's a water-based ink, I'm afraid it's going to smudge. So we're just going to go across the top and across the bottom. Trying to steer clear of our stamping. And then we're going to bring this piece of vellum right over top and work with it to get it lined up nicely. And we'll give that just a second to adhere. And I don't know that the camera will pick up on that, but you cannot see that adhesive under there, especially once it dries. So that's a great way to add vellum to your project, and I think it really does give it just that little bit more. So I really like this. I'm going to set this one aside. We'll use the one that's dry. Now when we get done with all of this and we're cleaning up our craft room, I'm just going to take this to the kitchen sink and run it under warm water. Once this is dry, you can just rub it off the silicone craft sheet, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in the tip video. In that tip video, we release that on Fridays on my YouTube channel, which is under Carrie Todd Stamp with CT. So if you want to see those videos first, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll bring this over to the side here. And give that a little back rub, as Judy would say. That looks straight to you, Dale?
That's great.
And then while that dries, of course we need some dimensionals for our greeting. And tell me how many dimensionals you would use on this. Pop that little comment in there. I'm using 4, but you tell me how many you would use. We'll start a controversy, right?
Well, I'm gonna guess that Donna's gonna say 2.
I would guess she would say that as well.
Because she's gonna cut them in half.
And that's okay, isn't it? This is a judgment-free zone when it comes to your dimensional usage. We are not going to judge you. Apparently, we'll call you out, but we will not judge you.
Oh, Tara's number is the one I'm interested in.
Yeah, Tara would have been able to fit 6 or 8 dimensionals on that little circle. Okay, I think that looks pretty straight. So I just think that gives it a frosted look. I absolutely love that. Now, of course, we need to bring in some more of these gorgeous faceted gems. And again, we'll stick with the clear. And you know, I may just put one up here on our sentiment for just a little sparkle factor, and just, I'll edit myself today and just use the one. So that is 2 quick and easy cards that you can make with that beautiful piece of designer series paper. Now, so many of the papers, I pretty much think all of them would work with these exact measurements. And this type of paper just makes it so easy to create gorgeous cards. It really does. The beautiful work that's already been done for us. I love it. Okay, let me move these out of the way. No Happy Mail today, but I do have our giveaway. And where did I put her name? Oh, I see it now. But before I tell you who the winner is of these embellishments, I want to tell you a little bit more about something exciting that's happening today. In addition to the launch of the new mini catalog, we also have some designer series papers. It's an exclusive release of designer series papers. They're not in the catalog, not in either of the catalogs. So you do need to go to my online store at stampwithct.stampinup.net. And if you type in online exclusives in that search bar, it will bring up only items that are available in the online store. So you'll be able to see the gorgeous papers. There's a silver and gold, I'm pretty sure it's silver and gold, adhesive backed paper. That's the one that stood out to me the most. But there's several papers that are really nice. Some have floral images. One is more of a Christmas theme that stood out to me. I have a video that I can share this afternoon if you want to see exactly, a little bit more about the papers. There's a couple of employees from Stampin' Up that share the papers. So let's see, what else? I think that's all the announcements. We do have the launch party coming up. It is the 16th, and it's in person or online on our CT's Craft and Connect Facebook group. And the registration deadline to get a packet has ended, but you can still, of course, participate in that if you would like. Okay, so Xana Baxter is the winner of these embellishments, and she was kind enough to watch my video last week and leave a comment. I know several of you did. I think we even had a couple of shares. So when you like or send up a heart on the video, that enters you. When you leave a comment or share the video, it enters you. So I really appreciate y'all doing that. It helps Facebook and YouTube know that other people need to see the video. So thanks for helping us out with that. And so this week we have a box of glue dots. We use glue dots all the time, and we love that adhesive. So that is our giveaway for this week. So leave those comments, send up those hearts, and that will enter you for a chance to win the random drawing. And we'll announce the winner next week at 10 a.m. Okay, I think that's it. Hope y'all have a great week. Stay cool, keep crafting, and we'll see you next week.